Like many of you guys, Outer Banks is one of my favorite shows, and even after watching season 4, it still is. So part 1 of season 4 was released on October 10th, and then part 2 was released on November 7th. And I just remember how collectively excited we all were for it to be released, but by the time everyone finished part 2, I feel like everybody was so mad and they just were saying that they didn't even want a season 5 anymore. And while I get it, as for me and my house, as long as these two are on my screen, I will be sad. This season, the phrase they kept saying was nothing to lose, but they literally end up losing everything. They lost their money, their home, JJ, Terrence, the crown, and Pope might have lost his future. I guess that's still up in the air, but we'll get to that. Starting off with Rafe, I definitely think the writers wanted to give him a redemption arc this season, which is really bold because Rafe is really crazy. Not gonna lie, I felt a little bad for Rafe when Sophia betrayed him, and I know feeling bad for Rafe is crazy. However, I just really didn't like that she did that. She didn't want Rafe to do the deal with Hollis for a reason, and for her to completely abandon that intuition just because she was mad at him and they offered her a little bit of money. I just thought that was really weird, but you know, it added to the plot, so it's okay. I was slightly into the whole redemption arc thing with Rafe, but when Sarah was hungry and he had all that money on him, that really irritated me, and I was ready to throw that whole redemption arc thing out the window. But I will say, Rafe delivered the best line of the season. I think one of the traits that each of the main 6 have is that they're extremely loyal. We see that trait in Sarah at least this season, not last season, because we're not even gonna talk about that. But this season, we see her be loyal to her brother because she could have let them people shoot at Rafe and she didn't. I'm only saying that when it comes to Sarah, I feel like she had the right to betray Rafe because we literally watched him try to drown her, and I'm like 85% sure that Rafe would have let them get at her. I'm genuinely still baffled that Sarah is pregnant. I remember seeing stuff online of people predicting that she would be pregnant, but I just knew they wouldn't do that because treasure hunting and pregnancy don't really go together. But you know, they really shocked me this season, if I'm being honest. Kiara getting thrown in that red cooler made me so mad because last season she was kidnapped. Now they're throwing my girl in the cooler. Kiara couldn't catch a break. And they still, in the end, did not let Kiara catch a break, if we're being honest. Also, I feel like Kiara definitely foreshadowed JJ's death more times than one this season. Remember that scene where she told him, basically, you can't keep doing stuff like this because your luck's gonna run out? And it sucks because she was right. John B threw me for a loop when he told him to put Terrence behind the couch. Now, I wasn't expecting him to tell them to tell Shoop the truth, but I definitely wasn't expecting him to tell them to put him behind the couch either, because behind the couch is real crazy. I'm also really shocked that them throwing Terrence in the ocean didn't come back up, this season with Shoop or anything. I'm interested to see if it will come back up next season because I just knew they were going to get in trouble for that. Also, John B should have punched JJ in the face, but we're going to get to that on the next slide. Alright, so Pope and John B should have given JJ a little one too, because when Pope tackled the cop, JJ said, "I didn't ask you to do that," and I felt like that was just beyond disrespectful. Not to mention JJ's little speech to John B about how he's going to be a terrible dad, and also in the beginning he lost all their money and he bet the last of it and he was blaming everybody but himself. Back to Pope though, they all have made sacrifices for one another, but Pope has jeopardized his future for all of them more times than he should have, and him tackling that cop could have gone so wrong, way worse than it actually went. And JJ telling him that he didn't ask him to do that was just so messed up. Oh, I wanted to jump through the screen, y'all. Also, I didn't love that Pope shot that guy for Cleo. I understood why he did it because low-key it was him or them, and not to mention Cleo wasn't gonna come with him until the job was done, and she couldn't really do it herself, so he did it for her. I just hated it because I remember that time in the season when Pope and Cleo were trying to create a diversion and Pope almost shot at Lightner and them, but he couldn't really get himself to do it. And so I just kind of hate that the circumstances kind of forced his hand in doing that or whatever. But I guess it kind of goes to show how much he loves Cleo. I mean, we all knew he loved her a lot anyway. On to Cleo, I'm so glad she got to see Pope before he was about to fake go to the Marines. We all knew he wasn't leaving for real, but in the courtroom, it just felt really final. And I just was feeling like, dang, she can't even say bye to the love of her life. That's crazy. But, that's one of my favorite things about this show. I feel like it really draws you in and you feel every emotion. Because we all knew Pope wasn't about to go to the Marines for real, but in the moment, it felt like it for sure. Alright, so I know I've been hard on JJ because he was doing entirely too much this season, but I really did not love that ending for him. That ending was just insane. I mean, we all knew that at some point, like Kiara said, that his luck would run out, but I just didn't think it would happen like that. And logically, I don't even understand how it got that far with Groff, because JJ trusting Groff at all never really made sense to me. But more than anything, Groff was extremely manipulative, and we see JJ be like a little bit skeptical of him when he threw his phone off the boat or whatever. But I think because JJ was going through so much, he just wasn't on alert the way he should have been. And Groff is just so weird because he literally left JJ in the ocean to the sharks, but decided to stab JJ because he didn't give him the rope. Now he wants to clutch the crown and feel bad. Like, it's too late now. I'm super interested to see what direction they go in season 5. I know in the ending scene, they kind of alluded to the fact that next season will be about them avenging JJ's death and everything, but I think that we're going to get a lot more than that. I think the writers are going to shock us because, I mean, Sarah being pregnant and JJ passing were definitely two things I never thought would happen. And I think JJ's death will impact each character in unique ways to where I think everybody's going to be acting outside of what we would expect from their characters. I especially think that Pope is going to be doing things that we never thought Pope would do. A lot of people are saying that they think that Rafe will end up with Kiara, and personally I think that Kiara deserves a lot better, but I wouldn't be shocked if they decided to explore that storyline. I am interested to see though if they went that route, like how does Sophia fit into that or not fit into that. I'm also interested to see if Kiara would try to push up on Pope. I don't necessarily think that she would, but I'm not entirely convinced that she wouldn't either. And we all know that Topper is slick at the mouth, so I'm interested in seeing his reaction to Sarah's pregnancy. Another thing I'm really curious about is if Shoop will actually end up losing his job. I mean, I don't want Shoop to lose his job, but the town was really angry at him, so I guess we'll just have to see. All I know is that Groff has to pay for what he did to JJ, and hopefully maybe they can rectify it with the whole blue crown wish thing, but I don't really know if that's gonna happen. It doesn't really seem like it, but Groff definitely needs to get what's coming to him. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you'll subscribe and comment down below your season 5 predictions.